The European Union has announced a major new effort to reduce its strategic dependence on China for rare earths and other critical raw materials. The initiative, unveiled in Brussels on December 3rd, marks one of the bloc's most significant policy moves in recent years to secure long-term industrial resilience in sectors ranging from clean energy to defence technologies. At the centre of the announcement is a commitment by the European Commission to mobilise nearly €3 billion in new financing. According to the Commission, this funding will be directed towards strategic projects across the extraction, refining and recycling chain for minerals and metals judged essential to the European economy. The press conference took place at the European Commission headquarters in Brussels. It was led by Stéphane Séjourné, the European Union's Commissioner for Industrial Strategy. Séjourné presented the details of the new policy package, known internally as ResourceEU, and outlined the reasons behind the bloc's accelerated drive to diversify supply chains away from China. During the briefing, Séjourné emphasized the scale of the challenge faced by the European Union. He described the current environment as one defined by elevated uncertainty, constrained access to materials, and sustained pressure on industries reliant on rare earths and critical minerals. In his opening remarks, he noted that the situation surrounding raw materials has reached what he described as an alarming stage. He stated that export licenses for several key materials continue to be issued cautiously and under conditions shaped increasingly by geopolitical tensions. He added that the pricing of some exported materials has grown opaque, sometimes treated as commercial secrecy. His assessment underscored what the Commission views as a structural vulnerability in Europe's industrial supply chain. Séjourné delivered a direct warning about the long-term outlook for raw materials availability. He stated that this trend is not expected to ease in the foreseeable future and that the European Union must adapt to sustained volatility in the global market. His message to policymakers and industry leaders focused on the need for a solution that is both systemic and immediate. He summarized this point through his first official statement, saying, "While the situation remains alarming today, export licenses are granted sparingly and at prices that are often considered trade secrets. One thing is certain, this pressure on raw materials is here to stay. That is why we need a systemic response, and that systemic response is the plan that was presented today to the College of Commissioners."
A été présenté aujourd'hui au Collège des commissaires.
Séjourné expanded on this by repeating the point in a slightly different form, reaffirming that the strain placed on Europe's raw material supply chains was not temporary. He reiterated the need for a coordinated response across the European Union's institutions and member states. The new initiative seeks to address several specific challenges, beginning with permanent magnets. Permanent magnets are critical for a wide range of technologies, including electric vehicles, wind turbines, robotics, and defence systems. European industries have reported tightening supplies, and the Commission has identified a significant shortage in this area. Another priority involves advanced batteries. Battery manufacturing has grown into a central pillar of the European Union's climate and industrial strategy, tied closely to automotive production, energy storage, and the broader transition to renewable power. Séjourné described the battery sector as increasingly sensitive and strategically important. A third focus area is defence-related materials, which he linked to the geopolitical context currently shaping Europe's security environment. While he did not elaborate in detail, the reference reflected broader concerns within the European Union about supply chain vulnerabilities linked to national defence industries. Séjourné then outlined the funding commitments tied to these priorities. He stated that the Commission will mobilise €3 billion in additional investment over the next 12 months. He underlined the timeframe to signal the urgency with which the Commission intends to move these projects forward. He delivered this point in his second official statement, saying, "There is €3 billion in additional funding that will be mobilised over the next 12 months, and I emphasise the next 12 months, to get projects off the ground immediately in 3 priority sectors sectors that we have targeted, we are seeing a significant shortage of permanent magnets. The issue of batteries is becoming sensitive and strategic for the European Union, as is the issue of defence. I will explain why in the context we are currently experiencing.
Et la question de la défense, je vous expliquerai pourquoi dans le contexte que nous connaissons.
Séjourné repeated the breakdown of these priorities in a second version of the statement, summarising the three sectors again and highlighting the immediate need for funding. He noted that the strategic objectives involve addressing shortages, protecting industrial competitiveness, and preparing for long-term demand. The Commission's plan also introduces a new coordination mechanism under the name ResourceEU. According to Séjourné, ResourceEU will serve as an operational platform that centralises information, improves oversight, and enhances real-time decision-making related to critical raw materials. The design is intended to function as a control centre, enabling the Union to adjust its policies and strategies rapidly. Séjourné described the platform in his third official statement, saying, "As you will have understood, ResourceEU is more than just a text. It is a kind of control centre, a cockpit for increasing, diversifying and coordinating in real time the supply of raw materials in Europe, raw materials that are vital to our European industries. The cost of independence is much lower than the cost of dependence." He delivered a second formulation of this statement as well, presenting the platform as a command post intended to strengthen Europe's capacity to secure critical materials. His remarks highlighted the Commission's view that resource independence is strategically and economically preferable to continued reliance on external suppliers, especially where supply is concentrated in one country. The broader context behind the announcement centres on Europe's long-standing dependence on China for rare earths and critical minerals. China controls a dominant share of the global market in rare earth extraction, refining and magnet manufacturing. European officials have expressed concerns for years about this concentration, arguing that it leaves European industries vulnerable to unpredictable supply disruptions and political leverage. In recent months, tensions over export controls, global trade policy, and strategic technologies have intensified these concerns. Several European industries, including automotive manufacturers, renewable energy producers, and advanced electronics companies, have reported rising uncertainty regarding the availability and pricing of essential materials. The Commission's new initiative responds directly to these developments. It aims to stimulate domestic mining operations, expand refining capacity, increase recycling infrastructure, and deepen partnerships with countries outside China. Officials have stated that these measures will help reduce single supplier dependency and create long-term stability for industries across the European Union. The €3 billion allocated under the new plan represent a combination of public funding, guarantees and investment frameworks designed to leverage additional private capital. The Commission expects the total impact to exceed the initial figure as private sector partners join new projects across member states. The Commission also stressed that the funding is intended to deliver immediate outcomes. Many of the targeted projects are either in advanced planning stages or ready for initial deployment, but lack the financial certainty required to begin construction or scaling. During the press conference, Séjourné noted that the timeline for action is deliberately compressed. According to his remarks, the European Union intends to make rapid progress over the next 12 months to prevent further deterioration in supply conditions and to ensure that Europe's industrial sectors retain competitive stability. In addition to the three priority sectors outlined by Séjourné, the Commission plans to broaden its monitoring and forecasting capacity. ResourceEU will collect data on international market trends, supply chain risks, and the availability of critical materials across different regions. The system is designed to help the Commission coordinate procurement, support domestic production, and evaluate vulnerabilities across strategic industries. ResourceEU will also support member states' efforts to streamline regulation and accelerate approval processes for mining and refining projects. According to Commission officials, these processes have often been slowed by administrative complexity or inconsistent national rules. A coordinated approach is intended to reduce delays and help Europe move toward greater autonomy. Throughout the briefing, Séjourné repeated the core message that Europe must develop a strategic response to a long-term challenge. He stated that the situation is defined by structural scarcity, geopolitical friction, and industrial urgency. The European Union, he argued, must design policies that protect its industries from future disruptions. China was not directly criticized in the statements delivered by Séjourné, but the underlying motivation of the plan is tied closely to concerns about Beijing's dominant position in the global market. Several European officials have previously stated that Europe should not rely on a single supplier for materials that underpin its technological, economic, and security sectors. The Commission's announcement also follows recent moves by other major economies. The United States, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and Canada have each introduced their own policies to secure rare earth supplies, increase domestic production, and encourage recycling. The European Union's new plan aligns with this wider global trend toward diversification. In this context, the European Union's focus on permanent magnets, batteries, and defence-related materials reflects its broader strategic priorities. Industries that rely on these materials are central to the continent's carbon-neutral transition, economic competitiveness, and security posture. The Commission noted that long-term demand projections indicate significant increases over the next decade. Electrification of transport, expansion of renewable energy infrastructure, and the growth of advanced manufacturing are expected to accelerate the need for rare earths and associated metals. Séjourné stated that Europe must act now to avoid future shortages, ensure stable supplies, and reduce geopolitical vulnerabilities. His remarks reflected a sense of urgency and a commitment to implementing the measures without delay. The press conference concluded with a reiteration of the core principles behind ResourceEU: increased autonomy, diversified supply, industrial resilience, and strategic independence. According to the Commission, the policy package represents a unified European response to one of the most pressing industrial challenges of the current decade. The €3 billion in new funding, combined with targeted strategic planning and a continent-wide coordination platform, form the backbone of the European Union's strategy to reshape its critical raw materials supply chain. The initiative marks a significant shift toward long-term planning and investment, aimed at ensuring that Europe's industries remain competitive and secure in a rapidly changing global landscape. This is the current state of the European Union's effort to strengthen its resilience, reduce strategic vulnerabilities, and support essential industries through coordinated action on critical raw materials. Europe has now committed to a 12-month acceleration plan to expand, secure, and diversify its raw materials supply chain, aiming to reduce dependence and reinforce long-term industrial stability.